This is absolutely brutal. Olu Fashanu will be missing the final 2 games of the Jets season with a foot injury as the New York Jets just get one last punch in the face, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and if you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe. 19% of viewers are subscribed, and it made Matt very excited to turn around and look at it. You know what? I'm going to point at it also. See, look at that. Look at that.
Your arm gets cut off. It's not as cool.
This is a disgrace. It's as much of a disgrace as finding out that Jets offensive tackle Olu Fashanu is likely to miss the team's final 2 games with a foot injury suffered on Sunday. The first-round pick played 15 games with 7 starts, taking over for Tyron Smith, who went down with one of his several neck injuries. And where we're at now, I mean, look, I'm bummed that Olu's season ends this way, but a solid rookie season for Olu Fashanu. And I was going to bring this up in a little bit, but I'm just going to bring it up now because he deserves his credit instantly. As Jeff Ulbrich said, he believes Olu Fashanu is the left tackle for the New York Jets for a long time. Now, Matt, we will start with the injury before just kind of trailing into Olu's future a bit. But obviously, blow to the Jets. At this point, it's not killer, but it does suck.
We're fortunate that it wasn't the Achilles tendon, which was something that it was potentially feared as being. Olu Fashanu had a great season, started as a backup, but proved himself coming in as the replacement for what's not a Pro Bowl level left tackle, but like a really good left tackle in Tyron Smith. And I'm really pleased with what we saw. A lot of Jets fans weren't sure if he was the pick at 11 because everyone wanted Brock Bowers, and they see what Brock Bowers is doing. But that left tackle position is just so much more important than having a tight end. I know people want pass catchers, but you got to have your quarterback protected. Olu Fashanu, really agree with Jeff Ulbrich. He's going to be our guy for the long future. Staying on in the here and now, I guess it's not it. We're happy it didn't happen earlier. Still don't want to see him miss any time, seeing how he didn't start the year. This is a guy who needs to get as many reps as possible, but it does look like he's not someone who really desperately needs reps in a lost season. He is playing really well with more practice time and more time being a pro, working out full time, being a professional football player full time. He should be able to grow into an even better version of himself that I'm really excited to see. It sucks to see that he's hurt, but I'm sure he's going to be able to get through this and be a great piece for the New York Jets going forwards.
Yeah, I mean, I think where Fashanu's at now, you have to look back and think, all right, well, in his true final act, that was his own decision. Great job by Joe Douglas. I mean, Olu Fashanu, I also agree. He's totally the guy. For the future, Olu Fashanu is their left tackle. The Jets have their left tackle for the next 10 years. That's phenomenal work by the team. You have a guy who's going to protect Rodgers if Rodgers comes back next year, and whoever the quarterback is after that or quarterbacks. The Jets now have the most important position on the offensive line. Mind you, they also have AVT and Joe Tippmann. So the offensive line is young. It's impressive. It's exciting. You have 2 other positions that are less set in stone for the future, but it's right tackle and a guard. Yes, it's important, but if you have 3 key guys on your offensive line for the foreseeable future, it means you're doing something right. The Jets' offensive line has taken massive leaps forward since being the worst offensive line in NFL history when Sam Darnold was quarterback. And now we're looking at the New York Jets, and it's something to build off of. Offensive lines, teams don't win Super Bowls with bad offensive lines. This is a very good start for the New York Jets. I mean, it's hard to imagine they'd pick another offensive lineman. Not that I'd hate it. I love getting a beefy line, but you got to go defense in this draft. I see you want to jump in.
It's possible that they do go offensive line because at 8 through 10, there's a real likelihood that's where we're picking. Right now we have the 8th pick in the draft. Both elite lineman prospects should be there. The best 2 tackles between Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks is going to be the best tackle. Will Campbell, his arms are short. He's going to get moved to guard. If you haven't heard it yet, you heard it here first. He's going to be a guard in the NFL. Peter Skoronski did the same thing. Drafted in the top 10 by the Titans, moved to guard. He's playing really well at left guard for the Tennessee Titans. If the Jets miss out on Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Abdul Carter, and who are the elite defensive prospects in this class, the next guy who I would like to go after would be one of those offensive linemen to continue building out the trenches. We have If Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, we have Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson for him to throw to. This is a deep tight end class. We could pick up a tight end later in the draft. That offensive line, really, really glad that Joe Douglas picked the most important position out and drafted it in the first round before he left, because that's just such a difficult position to find. There are so many offenses in this league. You look at the Bears. Their wide receivers are unbelievable. Caleb Williams makes some rookie mistakes, but has all the talent in the world and would be unbelievable if the line could block for him. We know what CJ Stroud did last season. He was amazing. This season, he's not good at all. You know why? The O-line sucks. Finally, feels so good that the Jets have that left tackle because, like you said, and like I said, most important spot on the offensive line, they're almost unacquirable in trades, cost a ton of money in free agency, and we're going to have 4 more years of Olu Fashanu on a bargain contract. Really, really excited. I'm actually way too excited for an offensive tackle, for an offensive lineman. I know how important this position is, and if you're a Jets fan, you need to be excited about this player.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing is, for all the things that maybe he didn't do perfectly, and I stand by, this should still be Joe Douglas's job, and if he didn't have to answer to a teenager, whether that's true or not, he has to answer to Robert Wood Johnson. So that you can't blame everything on Joe Douglas, and not to just bring back the old Joe Douglas appreciation that we do constantly, but like it's nice to know that the Jets have been set up for success on the offensive line. Look, I wouldn't mind another offensive lineman pick either. I just don't expect the Jets to pick another offensive lineman. Whoever takes over as the Jets GM, you have to imagine, now, whether this is right or wrong, they'll want to make some form of splash. Picking an offensive guard in the top 10, I used this word with when talking about the New York Yankees recently and their free agency, like, it would be a smart move if you can get a good offensive lineman, but it's not the sexiest thing in the world, and that's what we're going to probably see from a new GM, whether they've been in a front office being a GM or in another role at all. You expect a skill position of some sort to be drafted, whether that's a cornerback, whether that's just some sort of defense, like adding to the Jets pass rush so you can move on from Hassan Reddick, whether it's a safety, which obviously it probably won't be, hopefully not, because you shouldn't pick safeties in the top 10. That's we've both stood on.
There's an elite one who is going to be drafted very close to the top 10. Not inside the top 10, but very close to it. His name is Chris Gallagher.
Yeah, it's me.
I almost gave you a nickname, but
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Guys, it rhymes with Chris, and it's a fluid, so you can figure it out. But look, dude, I had to do it. We keep saying it in our fantasy league group chat. But, look, yeah, it's... you threw me off. Look, I do think that the Jets are going to have... they're going to have options in the draft. There's different positions of need. I really have a feeling they're not going to draft a quarterback whether Rodgers stays or not. There's always a world a new GM wants to select his guy, but it just feels like... It feels like it would make more sense to try to bring Aaron Rodgers back than do anything else, which we've talked about in the past. I think the best move for the Jets is to find... I think it's defense. The defense has taken a hit, and it's because Ulbrich has to coach the entire team now instead of the defense. And maybe he'll move back to defensive coordinator if he sticks around, which I wouldn't mind. It's just... I would guess there's a defensive pick after picking Fashanu. I wouldn't mind another offensive lineman pick. I mean, if you could solidify a young, exciting, elite offensive line, that's such an enticing thing for quarterbacks that you'll get quarterbacks who either become free agents, so they're not going to be some star, get available in trades and are interested in the Jets, or just a young rookie. I mean, we've talked about this for a bit. Deion Sanders is probably going to tell specific teams, don't pick either of my boys, don't pick Travis, don't pick Shador, and the Jets likely will be one of them. It would make sense that it's the Jets, the Panthers, and the Browns, which is what you said. I'm not going to say this is my idea. This is what you said, to quote you. But, like, it'll make that stigma start to go away. All right, if nothing else, I'm going to get some damn good protection for the next 7 years of my life if I get drafted by the Jets. That's enticing.
The goal for the Jets has to be, if it's not draft a quarterback this year, which it shouldn't be because the quarterbacks are pretty poor this year in the draft, it should be get a guy next year. The quarterbacks next draft are going to be pretty good. And the next year they could be really, really good as well. And meaning 2026 and 2027. Those are exciting quarterbacks. They're 6'5", They could run the ball. They got monster arms. Talk about Arch Manning. Talk about Nico Iamaleava. Those guys are superstars. If you had to bet right now whether the Jets are going to pick offense or defense in the draft first round, you have to pick defense because there are just more defensive superstars in this draft. However, the Jets struggle on offense, so Woody Johnson might want, as you said, to make that splash. He might force the GM to pick, and a guy's going to make a explosion on social media. So just being boring, the Jets need to pick the best player available. That's that simple. Whether depending on what pick they have, if they are right now we're at 8 or 9 is going to be where the drop off is from that elite level of prospect that the guys I said before, like that Abdul Carter, Will Johnson, not Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter, those guys, they're going to dry up around the 8th or 9th pick. It depends on if Tedero McMillan goes really early. It depends on if someone potentially reaches on a third quarterback really, really early to push the other non-quarterback elite prospects down the board for the Jets. We're going to see what happens. And the NFL draft is my favorite night of the year and talking in sports terms. So I can't wait to see what the Jets do.
It's your favorite night of the year no matter what terms we're talking about, honestly. But look, guys, I do think I'll be real. I think it's going to I think there's going to be an effect of we'll be able to see how good whoever this new Jets GM is based off the draft pick this year. Is that a fair assumption?
I'm a little bit worried that Woody Johnson is going to tell him who to pick.
Oh, that's terrible.
Because
the last
Woody
we
Johnson
did that with Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Yep. Woody Johnson we know he wants to have full control of the team. He's going to meddle. So he might force the GM to take the flashiest possible player. And I'm trying to think maybe Luther Burden, who is a wide receiver out of Missouri. Maybe he would be
Wilson. That makes sense.
The flashiest pick. I'm trying to think what would be flashy other than quarterback. Of course, is the flashiest position. No matter who the name is, if you take a quarterback as a New York Jets in the first round, when everyone says they should go in the 3rd or 4th round, you take them top 10, you will make a splash. I promise you will make a splash. That will be exactly what Woody Johnson wants to see happen. Hopefully, I'm not going to say hopefully. We know he's not going to change his ways, so I don't know why I'm asking for it. But Woody Johnson, please just let the people you hire do their jobs. They might be good at it. They might be bad at it. But we'll never know if you do their jobs for them. We know you're not good at it. Please let the GMs GM.
Let the GMs GM, guys. And if you guys like this content, make sure to subscribe to Jets Digest to see me and to see more of some Matthew Long right here. There he is.
Can they see that?
I don't know. I'm currently drawing on the screen using Zoom. Here's a heart to tell you guys to like the video. We'll even color it in a little bit. Guys, I hope you guys enjoy the content. I hope you guys can see me drawing on the screen like I'm some ADD 6-year-old right now. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn on post notifications. I got distracted. Have a great day, and go Jets. It's not stopping. Matt, the recording is not stopping. We're still here.
All right, so go to Zoom and